Oh yes, guys, finally got everything set up. We're ready to put power to the comp truck build. We're gonna get it calibrated. We're gonna set up the remote. We're gonna get it programmed. All coming up in this video, guys. Just finally. I've been waiting so long to get this thing set up. I know it's been like 4 or 5 videos now, but it's finally happening today for the truck. Stay tuned. It's all coming up right now. All right, guys, so first things first, we need to get it calibrated. So if you've never calibrated a Hobby Wing type product, normally what you'll do is you have a set button and a power button. You're gonna press both of them at the same time, and then you're gonna let go of the set button first, I think. Yeah, something like that. Let's just go for it. Let's see what happens. All right, so radio on. Really nice Fly Sky radio. Got my 4S Gens Ace battery with an adapter for right now. All right, first time putting power to it. You want to make sure that you have it up on stands because you really don't want it to take off in case there's something set wrong. So it is on some jack stands. Let's see. All right, so we're just gonna go for it here. Let's just hit the power button and see what happens. All right, so we have steering. Ooh. Oh, man. I think I have the mesh set too hard on the pinion, but that's okay for right now. We are going to get it calibrated. So what it says here is hold the set button, press the power button on, and then release the set button. Got it. All right, so we're gonna power it on again. All right, it's beeping. And then I think we press the set button. Should be neutral, full throttle, and then full reverse. Okay, there's neutral. We're gonna go full throttle. 2 beeps. Full reverse, 3 beeps. All right, boom, we're calibrated. Oh my goodness, look how slow that is. Oh my goodness, guys, this is insane. All right, so now we need to set up our steering. Let me get you at a different angle. All right, so when you're setting up your steering, it's important to make sure that all of the trims are set to 0 on the controller. So if you haven't had one of these Fly Skies before, basically you're gonna come over to EPA. EPA is basically your movement percentage. So you wanna make sure all of that is at 100%. You can go back and you can add more later if you need to get more steering out of it, but this is your sub trim. You want to make sure that all that is set to 0, and then you have your dual rate. You want to make sure all that is set to 100. EXP, you want all that set to 0, and then your trims, obviously you want all of that set to 0 as well. So now that we know that all that is set up, we know that the steering is powered up. My first ever direct power steering. Can't see it, but ooh, seems pretty fast. So now what you want to do is you want to make sure that your steering is set somewhat straight. Now this is going to be a little difficult for me because I have a little bit of toe out. So just make sure that the steering is set somewhat straight. Then you can put your servo horn on in the closest position. Get it in there. So right there, let's see. All right, that's gonna be where it's gonna be at. So let's put a screw in it just to keep it from coming off while we're setting it up. Just snug for right now because I'm gonna pull it out and put a different screw in it and Put some Loctite on it as well. All right, so now that that is set up, let's give it a quick test and see. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It is about to throw it off of this little stand I got here. Hold on. I might have to hold it. Holy, that is insane. That is a crazy amount of steering, guys. Oh my goodness. All right, so right off the bat, I can tell that is full lock, but it tries to go more. So I need to adjust the trims. So I'm gonna do that quickly off camera because it's gonna be a little bit difficult to get it all set up with this remote. So I'm gonna get all that set up. I'll be right back. Okay, so I was gonna do it off rip, but I decided to show you guys how I set it up. So when you're setting up your steering, it's actually very important. When you have this much power out of the servo, this much throw out of the axle, and this much calibration out of the remote, it's very imperative that you get your steering set up. What you don't want it to do is go so far, like max out the angle of the axle, and then when you see the bump stops hit, you still see the servo trying to push, okay? And that's bad. That puts a lot of extra stress on your servo horn, your linkages, and all of that. You could start breaking stuff, okay? So what you want to do is first you want to set up your trim. So your trim is basically just to get it centered up. So as you move this, you're going to see that it's going to kick it to one side or another, and obviously that's going to set up your center line all wrong. So what you want to do is set up your trim first. You want to get it close to centered up as possible. So I think somewhere, and you want to make sure that the tires aren't binding on whatever you're doing. I like to do it on the table or on the bench. So I think it's going to be somewhere around, and it's just an eyeball game for right now. I think it's going to be somewhere around there. All right, so once you have your trim set up and the wheels are centered, now you want to make sure that your EPA is set. Now your EPA on this, as far as I can tell, that is your end points. You want to make sure that your end points are set correctly. Now with this radio, what you're going to do is you're going to select EPA, you're going to select steering, and you're going to see it's going to have the right side or left side depending on which way you start to turn it, okay? So what you want to do is you want to turn it to full one direction, and then you want to adjust the percentage on here using the dial. So you're going to select, and then you'll see that it has to where is it? There it is. All right, so now that glare is ridiculous. All right, so once you get it set, you can see now that you can adjust when you're at full steering. Keep in mind you're going to hold the steering that direction, and you're just going to adjust this till the second your bump stops hit on the axle. So on this, you really want to make sure you're not going too far because you don't want to break anything in the long run. So I go to where it's like just starting to bite into the axle quite hard. All right, so that for me is, you know, obviously 47, 48. And then once you set that, then you can relax the steering, and then you're going to turn the other direction. You'll see that this automatically changes so that you can set the other direction. Do the same thing, select it, and then you can adjust it to where you have the bump stop hit without the servo trying to push further than it needs to. So like I said, I like to go till it touches, and I go one click more. Okay, that's how I know that the steering is at its full potential without stressing the servo horn. So that is super important as well, guys. You really don't want to break your servo horn. Just look at how crazy that servo is, though. That's insane. RC RS 700, low profile, awesome servo. My first ever direct power servo, and right now on 4S it's getting obviously about 14, almost 15 volts. Yeah, almost 15 volts. So that is quite insane. That's over 1,000 inch-pounds at its current settings. All right, guys, so now that we've got that set up, now what we need to do is we need to calibrate it, okay? I have reverse rotation right now, so I could set it on the remote, but this actually has a function where you can reverse the rotation in the programming. So if you know about Hobbywing products, it doesn't matter what program card you have, it should work with any of Hobbywing's products. So even though these don't match with the ones that you have on the program card, for example, when you select each item, it's going to have this already pre-built into it. So it doesn't matter what program card you have, as long as you have a program card, you can set this up. So what you want to do is, where it says power and negative, you want to undo it from there. You want to plug it into your truck. And on this, it goes into the ESC right there. It's going to be a little tight to get in there, but for me, but let's get it in there. All right, boom, just like that. Once you have it plugged in, all you got to do is power it up, and then the program card will activate and it'll start showing you the item values. So with this, let's see, we want number 1 running mode, forward brake reverse, forward reverse. So we want forward reverse, so that's number 3. It's already set, so let's move on to the second one. Motor type brushless, already set. Cutoff voltage, this is important, guys. You really want it to be set to, I always set mine to medium. You never want to set it to low or disable it, because that will put your battery at some high risk, and you really don't want to do that. So here's the one we need. Number 4, motor rotation, counterclockwise. We want it clockwise. And then I'm just going to quickly go through some other stuff here. BEC voltage, 6 volt, 7.4, 8.4. I think I'm just going to leave it at 7.4, even though, you know, I want some more power to the servo, but keep in mind, the servo is direct power, so it's really only getting a signal from the receiver. You really don't need to have the power set that much higher, so for right now, we're going to set it to 7.4. Drag brake force, we want the drag brake force to be set to, let's do 100%. Drag brake rate, now this is how fast the drag brake comes on. We want it to be set to, let's go to 7, because 9 is 100%. So at 100% drag brake rate, what happens is as soon as you let off, it'll stop. So we want a little bit of creep before it stops. It helps maintain control, especially when going downhill. Max reverse force, we'll go ahead and jump that all the way up to 100%. Max brake force, it's not really applied since we have forward reverse. Punch, we want the punch to be pretty high, so we're going to set that to 7 out of 9. That's fine. Neutral range. Neutral range is basically how tight the controller is. Since this is a brand new FlySky, I'm going to set it pretty low at 4%. We'll try that. FOC power, this is where it gets really interesting. I'm going to jump it up to 24%, option number 7. Low speed throttle. I'm not really sure what that one is, so I'm going to leave it where it's at on 20%. And then once you get all the way through, you can see that it's already set. All you do is hit OK. I like to hit it twice just to be sure. Then you're going to power off the ESC, then unplug this. And now everything should be set where you had it. We can power it right back up since you already have the controller on. And then we can test out. Let's see if it's going the right direction now. That is an insane amount of slowness, but yes, it is now going the correct direction. Ooh, it's got some speed to it. Let's take it outside real quick and give it a quick little crawl. We'll see how it goes. Nothing is Loctited right now except for some of the axle screws. There's not even oil in the shocks yet. I was just getting them set up. And I obviously need to change that pinion because the mesh is way too tight. That's why it's screaming like that. But let's take it outside real quick, guys, and give it a quick test. All right, let's see how it does, guys. First time driving it. Look at that creep, is insane. It's also got 30% overdrive from the transmission, which if you haven't seen some of my other videos, I think I mentioned it in the base camp video. 30%, from like 25 to 30% is kind of like the Goldilocks zone. Anything more than that, it is too much. Anything less than that, you're not really getting what you'd want out of it. So that steering angle is insane. Let's try a different spot. All right, here's a little bit trickier over climb. Now keep in mind, this is nothing like super hard. I'm just trying to test out to see here if anything is rubbing or doing anything crazy. Definitely need a different pinion. But nothing can deny that creep. Look at that, barely moving. First ever direct power, first ever direct or a outrunner motor, and first time ever building something completely from the ground up. Awesome. Whew, guys, it's a toasty one out there today. Like 5 seconds of being outside and I'm already sweating. But tell me what you guys think about it so far. I mean, obviously the pinion is set way too tight. I think I have like a 14 tooth or 15 tooth pinion on there. So we're gonna have to step down because I'm already maxed out on the adjustment for it. So unfortunately we're gonna have to step down. It's gonna slow it down even more. But I think it's doing really well, obviously right off the bat. Steering is phenomenal. I'm gonna play around with the suspension, get it to not be so stiff. I mean, there's no oil in it right now, so the O-rings inside are kind of like rubbing on the shaft, the shock shafts a little bit, keeping it a little stiff. But we're gonna put some oil in it. We're gonna adjust the shocks. I'm gonna switch out the pinion. And also today from J Concepts, I should be getting not one but 2 different bodies because I didn't know which one I wanted to choose. So I'm getting 2 different bodies today in the mail. So here pretty soon I'm gonna be getting a body installed on it as well. So a lot of stuff is finally happening with this little truck, guys. And let me know in the comments what you think I should paint it, because I'm at a loss for what I should paint that truck. So let me know in the comments what you think it should be, and then we'll see how it goes. I got some 2.2 wheels. Unfortunately, J Concepts sold out on their 475 2.2 wheels, so I'm gonna wait for that to come back in stock. I'm gonna get my hands on a couple of pairs of those, and we're gonna get this thing going, guys. This thing is gonna be an absolute beast. It's gonna definitely put my 4-wheel steer truck up for its money, so that's gonna be interesting to see. But guys, finally here. I hope you guys are enjoying this build as much as I am. So again, the whole process has been filmed. So if you guys want to build a very similar truck to this, you can roll back a few videos and start from the beginning. I know I did kind of a weird camera angle at the first couple videos, but there's a lot of good info on this truck and the build process throughout in those other videos. So be sure to check them out. Yeah, guys, it's insane. It's finally happening. The purple on the Deluxe Fab shocks isn't quite the same on the purple from the Amazon stuff, but you know, you can never really get it 100% matched. Anodization is kind of like an art, really, and it depends on the quality of the aluminum as well. So the Chinese stuff kind of looks pink, and the Deluxe Fab is actually purple. But that's fine. We're not going to worry about that too much because we're super excited to get this thing going, right, guys? So be sure to check out the other videos on the build process of this truck. Stay tuned for more stuff on this truck in the future. There will be a lot more coming out with it. I'm going to be driving it a lot. So be sure to stay tuned to the channel for that, guys. Be sure to check out the other videos on this truck build. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Happy crawling.